What about, like, I don't know, like
Logan Paul?
Logan Paul.
Yeah, I knew where you were going with that. This one's interesting. Dude,
Are we gonna? I feel like we're gonna lose the other topic, which is
Fuck,
fine.
I love the other topic.
No, because we will get back to it. And honestly, like, I don't want to overpower your people with any of this shit. It's so dramatic and like,
hold on. Yeah, it's live.
it's not live.
It's live.
Bro, don't even fucking try that.
We're streaming on Twitch.
Y'all know better, dude. Bro.
Okay, it's not live.
Bro.
What's going on, man?
Dude, I mean, well, first and foremost, we were supposed to do this podcast a long time ago.
Hold on, let's wrap it up then.
Political
Let's
and-
wrap the topic up. The problem is, though, dude, there's like, for us to sit here because we've learned and we know at this point in our life certain things and obviously so much more to learn, it's tough to go like, these people are just wrong, though. You know, because like I was fucking 20 years old and I was wrong about fucking everything.
Correct.
Like-
no, but correct.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say. It's
You mean because now they have platforms and they're reaching all these people and then they're giving this information that's wrong. But like I said, in their situation, it's not. And then maybe to their followers that are the same age, it's not. Even though it kind of could be a little toxic.
the idea of subjective accuracy is troubling. It's like we've gotten to a point where the idea of being right or wrong doesn't exist anymore.
Bro, but that's a major issue overall.
Do you know what I'm saying? And like, obviously, like, dude, there's also right now, right and wrong are so ingrained in so many different verticals of thought, right? Like, for some people, the idea of right or wrong are decided for them at birth via religion. They will never deviate from the moral code that is presented to them by way of baptism. However, I don't know what the connection process with Allah looks like, or in the Jewish religion, but like that sets their morality for the rest of their life, and that's what wrong or right is. Other people learn right or wrong by way of abuse, trauma, drug addiction, parental divorce, like whatever their reasons are. So to simply say, right or wrong, everybody has a little bit of a differentiator, or a differential on, or feels different about what right or wrong is. And that's what makes the world a good and a scary place. And to make matters even more complicated, because of social media and now because of the way we're interacting with other countries and other cultures, religions are starting to mix.
Yeah.
And you're starting to see, honestly starting to see a ton of online religious battle, which is insane. I mean, you're seeing like a good amount of anti-Semitism. You're seeing, recently, which I hate to see. I hate the idea of anybody talking shit or being mean to anybody about the religion. It's a very personal belief and crusade that, I already know why you're shaking your fucking head on that.
yeah. God damn it. The Logan Paul thing.
I can talk about whatever, bro.
No, I won't do that.
No. I'm more than happy to talk about it, dude. Listen.
That was a shit moment.
It was a shit moment.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna say this.
I'm just gonna say, if someone's gonna say I'm getting lame, they can get flamed, because I never flamed anyone for anything.
I don't think there was anybody that was involved with that moment that feels good about that show.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I really don't. And honestly,
I didn't mean to do that.
No. Today's not honestly the best day, but I want to talk about the stuff because I'm here. Okay. Today's been fucking wild, and I've been mentally all over the place, but I'm here. I'm sitting on this couch. So we're going to talk about this a little bit. There's been a lot of drama, bro.
Yeah.
With the show.
Well, I honestly just really wanted to ask you, like, besides the fact of the conversation, I wanted to ask you, to the best of your ability, what can you speak about George? Like, why is he off the show?
So here's the thing. Obviously, like, everybody has been kind of tight-lipped about it, right? Yeah. About the situation, and there's, various factors as to why that's the case. The situation has been particularly tough for me because I really am a third party in the situation. I am a founder, yes, but at the end of the day, really a co-host on the show. I definitely have, contribution and decision-making power, but at the end of the day, it's not my name on the wall. It's not my show. Okay. So from a decision-making standpoint or ability to speak on complex topics like this, I prefer not to. The one thing I will say is this.
Before you say this, if it was your choice, would you have kept George on the show? based on what you just said?
There's no way for me to answer that without
All right,
it
continue.
causing a massive problem.
Sorry.
No.
I have to ask these questions.
I'm not. Listen. I have no problem with the questions.
Yeah.
I just ask everyone to understand that my ability to answer or not answer is complex. That's
I understand.
all. The one thing that I will say is this. I always, and I could say this. There's a lot of things where I feel broken on in my life because I've done some things right, some things wrong. I regret certain things. I can say this with my chest out. I was always good to George. If you watch back any episode of that show, I always, if a guest was going on too hard on him, whether it was Bobby Lee, whether it was Logan himself, no matter what happened, I always had George's back. If he had an issue with a flight, if he had an issue with a hotel, he called me first, and I always took care of the problem. I was always good to him on the show. And so he had a appearance on Howie Mandel's podcast, a couple weeks ago, and I didn't like the idea of just always being grouped in, of it being like they, because his relationship with Logan from a business and friendship standpoint is very different than mine and his relationship. And
Yours
I
and
still,
George's relationship.
yes,
Yeah.
and I still respect and love George very much. He's an incredible person.
Yeah.
He's incredibly grounded in his religious and family beliefs. He's a loving kid, a lovable kid, and he's a positive spirit.
Yeah.
And I miss him. I do. I really do. I can say that without a shadow of a doubt. And the one thing I will say is that the idea of working alongside friends in this space is very fucking hard and very tough. And it's just a really tough topic. And honestly, like we purposely haven't said a lot about it. Right. But
because it's lawsuit shit or what?
what's that?
Is it lawsuit shit?
No,
It's just
no, it's just
the respect or what?
yeah, it's just I think there's just like a lot of feeling and a lot of love and a lot of just kind of upsetness across the board on how things played out.
Yeah.
And the idea that, it's something where any of the parties can simply point the finger and say your fault is just not the case.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It just was a complex situation, and I mean, you just wait and see how it plays out. I mean, that's really what it is. But I mean, listen, like I don't think that there's a tremendous amount of like bad blood or anything like that. I also think that he got quite excited and fired up about his own show.
For sure.
And to be honest, like rightfully so. Like there's been a lot of reasons why I haven't started my show, from issues that I deal with from a self-worth standpoint and
about you making your own
anxiety
show?
and so on and so. I always was.
Why don't you
I
do it?
do this shit, bro.
Well, why don't
I
you
do
do it?
this shit the same way you do this shit.
Yeah.
I'm born to talk,
Yeah.
have conversations, and
But
be
why
a
don't you have
podcaster.
your own show?
It's complicated, bro. It's complicated. It's the kind of shit I talk about in therapy. You know what I'm saying? Which I'm happy to talk about on the show. I've
What's
never been.
complicated about it? It just seems like it's a contractual thing.
It's not ever that easy, bro. You know what I'm saying?
We talking about the relationship between like someone.
No, it's not even that, bro. It's. I talked about this earlier on this episode. As men, we are our biggest battles with ourselves.
Yeah.
Our biggest battles with ourselves. Our ability to succeed or fail in this world is based on how much we truly believe in our ability to succeed.
100%. We were just talking about this before you got here.
And to be quite honest with you, I still, even after 400 extremely, fantastic episodes of one of the coolest shows where we've had the honor of sitting down with so many guests, after hundreds of episodes of my own show, hundreds of millions of views, a best-selling book, kudos from other people in the industry that I respect and all of these things, I still have a lot to work on in myself in terms of how I look at myself and the confidence that I have in myself. And you know, there have been people who have said, bro, like you're funny, bro. Get on stage, write a routine. Like what the fuck you doing? Go do stand up. I am a victim of self-limiting beliefs. I always have been. It is one of the things.
Is it related to being like perfectionism, like having it just be right?
Nah, it's deeper than that. I have always had a bit of an issue with myself.
Like just mentally, physically,
mentally. I mean, bro, it's like, dude, like the whole world can sing your praises and tell you that what you do is great, and wow, you're a great orator, you're great at speaking, all of these things. But until you truly believe that, it's almost like remember the movie Inception?
Yeah, I love that
where
movie.
Their fear was that they would not be able to implant an idea into the target's mind because he needs to implant that idea in his own mind or it won't hold.
Yeah.
I feel like that with my own life sometimes because I probably have had more support from the industry than anyone I've ever seen. Every single person, I've never had somebody say no to me, from streamers to porn stars to, you know, to podcast hosts to business partners all over the world. I've been so blessed with my network, right? But until you truly believe in yourself, and by the way, to complicate things further, until you truly are at peace with yourself and are able to overcome the battles that weigh you down every single day, you'll never truly be free enough to succeed at its highest level. I'm very successful right now, extremely successful, and I can continue to succeed on this path. I know you're going to tell me that I'm overcomplicating an issue.
No, not at all. That's not what I was going to say at all. I'm really just curious because like, it's obviously a self-sabotage thing, and I wanted to talk to you about this even before you started talking about this. One of the main topics that I like, just because I like randomly just think of shit as I'm coming into these conversations. I don't plan anything.
That's why they're great. That's why they're great.
I appreciate it, but it was in relationship to just the idea of succeeding and accomplishing things, and how like specifically nowadays, because there's so much stuff that like to stand out, you really have to kind of like be, I mean, it's weird. Like everyone can have a podcast, but not everyone should have a podcast. I think you should have a podcast. But my question is like, just in regards to like the male ideas around our self-worth, and like, cause you mentioned it when we first started this conversation about how as a man, you have to do all of this stuff in order to like have success in life and to sustain success. In regards to that idea in you, why, like, genuinely, just what do you think it has to do with like the past, because you went through something that was so difficult, or because you feel like you're not going to be able to show up and sustain, or is it because like you feel like you're not good enough to have more success or your own independent success? Like, what is it?
Honestly, like something I just recently in the past couple weeks went back to therapy.
I've been doing therapy, for the last few months.
Amazing, good. As well as I started meditation.
Big
as well, yeah. So those two things.
At this point, you have to know.
Yeah.
What it is. Obviously, you don't have to have a perfect picture.
Well, I'll tell it to you like this. In support of the traditionalists and the people that are pushing for that return of that traditionality, one of the things they're very good at, and I bet you Tate is incredible at it, and I know Patrick Bet-David is incredible at it, and some of these other people are great at it, is discipline. You can be we always talk about these two things that are needed for success, and they're like, what's more important? Is it talent or hard work, right? And you can be